The fate for El Pueblito Cemetery. For generations, El Pueblito Cemetery has stood as one of the town's most sacred places, a quiet resting place where families gather to honor loved ones, remember community history, and pay tribute to veterans who served their country with honor. Following the permanent closure of the Veterans of Foreign Wars post, responsibility for the cemetery property was returned to the U.S. Forest Service. Maria Gonzalez, Executive Director of Vida del Norte Coalition and wife of veteran Jason Gonzalez, has stepped forward to lead the management and care of El Pueblito Cemetery through the nonprofit organization. For me, it came down to doing what was right for our community, Gonzalez said. El Pueblito Cemetery is such an important part of our history, and it deserves consistent care and stewardship. My own father is buried there, so this isn't just another project. It's deeply personal. Like so many families here, I visit loved ones there, and I know how much it means to have a place that is cared for with dignity and respect. Over the years, I have shared ideas with Jason about the ways the cemetery could be better maintained, and it gradually became clear that a local organization with strong community roots was the best position to ensure it would be cared for generations to come. The transition represents more than a change in management. It reflects a commitment to preserving an important piece of our heritage while ensuring that families continue to have a peaceful and dignified place to remember those who came before them. Taking on this responsibility is both an honor and a commitment that I don't take lightly, Gonzalez said. El Pueblito Cemetery is the final resting place of generations of Cuesteños, including many veterans who made tremendous sacrifices for our country. My husband Jason is a veteran himself, so honoring those who served has always been especially meaningful to our family. Through Vida del Norte Coalition, Gonzalez hopes to build a model of long-term stewardship that honors both the cemetery's historical significance and the families who rely on it. This responsibility is about much more than mowing grass or repairing fences, she said. It's about preserving our community's history, honoring those who came before us, and ensuring that every family has a peaceful, beautiful place to remember and celebrate the lives of their loved ones. We owe that to those who rest there today and to the generations who will visit for years to come. Families needing to schedule an interment or arrange cemetery services may contact Maria Gonzalez at any bugs on there? I don't think so. It's a daisy. A daisy and a sweet pea. Is our pen broken? Oh wait, it's a twisty kind. Okay. Leukemur. B U I don't know if that's an N or or are Buna? Bora? I don't know, I'll have to look that up. Oh. There. That's a Shasta daisy. It's a hybrid. Shasta daisy. And then the other one is Lathyrus odoralis. That's the sweet pea. Okay. And then I have another one. Look at that beauty. It's a wild evening primrose. They bloom at night. Aren't they gorgeous? Oenothera biennis. I saw the sphinx moths all over them. I really like those. That's pretty together. Little friends. Maybe we could make it match the stripes. Oops. Tricky, isn't it? Just take your time. Hurry up and take your time. Too much caffeine today. My hand feels a little bit shaky. Boop. Uh-oh. It's sloppy. There you go. Maybe one more little skinny one. There. And we'll do oops. There we go. And one more by the top. I just love this. So pretty. There. Let that dry. Whoop. Let that dry, and then we'll do a couple. More colors. Hey, I know. What about you? Yeah, you. Just follow the lines. There we go. It's a little tricky because there's a handle in the way. There. You don't have to paint your pots with stripes to match the wallpaper and the floor paper if you don't want to. But I think I will. could use a smaller brush or a bigger brush. You could use your fingers. Sometimes it's fun to use your fingers, huh? It's a little bit of a workout for your arm, isn't it? It's okay if it's a little messy. It doesn't matter. There. One more right here. Whoop. There. Go all the way to the top if you want to. Maybe you don't want to. It's okay. We started from the top this time. Maybe we won't go all the way around at first. We'll try a different method. Oop. So we don't have to turn it so much. I don't know if you can hear the crickets, but they're out. Chirping away. I guess they know what they're saying to each other. And there's some kind of equation that you can do to figure out the temperature outside. Oh, these might be a little bit crooked. That's okay. And there you go. once it dries, I'll put some green over it. So it really matches. Oh, all the way to the top, top, top. You can fix it if you want as you go along. Oops, I think we met up with the other side there. There we go. Let's see, there's this little bit to go. There, I did it. There. Maybe one around the top too. Yeah. A little bit crooked, that's okay. That's okay. Oh, obituaries. John Lapin. John Gratien Lapin was born in Chicago, Illinois in 1951. His mother was Mary Elizabeth Woodcock, who worked in bridal fashion after losing her fiancé to World War II. Then she met and married Raymond Harold Lapin. John's father, Ray, was a banking executive who eventually worked under the Nixon administration. His design and structure of Fannie Mae, the financial instrument that enabled millions of Americans to buy homes, led the New York Times to call him the father of the secondary mortgage market. He was also on Nixon's enemies list. The tumultuous life of Washington took Mary back to San Francisco, her son in tow. Happily captaining a folk boat and crew, John sailed into readiness for college. He soon earned a degree in city planning from the University of California at Santa Cruz, but later, coached by his father, worked as an investment banker in New York City, Washington, D.C., Los Angeles, and London. He moved to Taos County in 1998, choosing to reside in Costilla, where he raised cattle and goats, and created the restaurant Latitude 37, hiring the brilliant chef Kathy Brown and providing lots of employment. He also took a position as mayordomo and treasurer on the Acequia Madre de Rio Costilla, a duty he loved and kept at until his death. He was generous, kind, dependable, witty and difficult, an excessively intelligent man. He is survived by his wife, that poet Deirdre Baldwin, and family, Calvin Nall, Anthony Baldwin Horn, and his wife Samantha Kim, his cousin Dave Woodcock and family, Paris Paccioni, Monica Walker, Cosmo Paccioni, and Nico Paccioni, Jeanette Learn, Cassandra Noel, Jared Dustin Elliott, and Kenneth Ralston. The family of John Gratien Lapin has entrusted the care of their loved one to the caring staff of De Vargas Funeral Home, Taos. Law enforcement's role in youth prevention. When we think about the village it takes to raise a child, we usually think of families, neighbors, and teachers, but local law enforcement plays a huge role in keeping our kids safe too. As the Vida del Norte Coalition continues looking at the different groups shaping our local youth, this July the spotlight is on the law enforcement sector. In modern substance use prevention, local officers are working behind the scenes to create a safe environment where our kids can grow up healthy. Current Police Chief Ezequiel Romero emphasizes the importance of education when it comes to drug and alcohol prevention for our youth. Between the police department and the marshal's office, we work hand in hand to offer classes and presentations on DWI prevention tools to our youth. Chief Romero also mentions that he personally visits La Alta Vista Elementary once a day and the high school 2 to 3 days a week when school is in session to check in on teachers and students, ensuring a constant presence. The police crew currently consists of Chief Romero, 2 officers, and 2 new hires. In rural areas like ours, people often associate law enforcement only with flashing lights and emergencies, but a big part of local prevention is actually about building trust long before a crisis ever happens. Whether it's a deputy high-fiving a student during a school visit, officers mentoring kids through local programs, or Chief Romero's taking the time to just listen to a teenager's concerns, these simple interactions make a big difference. When young people see officers as approachable, real people who care about their future, it breaks down barriers and replaces fear with respect. Why this matters right now? Keeping a community safe looks a lot different today than it did a generation ago. Local officers are dealing with a tough landscape, from dangerous illicit substances to widespread underage vaping and digital networks where these things are bought and sold. According to the data from Vida del Norte, the solution isn't just about making arrests. Instead, the focus has shifted toward working together on proactive strategies. Cutting off access. Law enforcement works alongside community coalitions to run compliance checks, making sure local stores strictly enforce age limits on alcohol, tobacco, and vape products. Cleaning out the medicine cabinet. By keeping permanent prescription drug drop boxes at local stations, officers give residents a safe way to get rid of unused medications before they can fall into the wrong hands. Being mentors. Local departments are actively stepping up to serve as positive role models and mentors for youth across the region. A community safety net only works when everyone pulls together. Supporting our local law enforcement sector helps reinforce the work parents are doing at home and teachers are doing in schools. When officers have the community's trust to enforce safety laws and focus on positive policing, our kids thrive in a safer environment. This July, the Vida del Norte Coalition wants to recognize the law enforcement officers across our neighborhood who partner with us in the quiet work of substance use prevention. To learn how to get involved with local safety initiatives or to attend the next Community Coalition meeting, visit vidadelnorte.com or follow their updates on social media. Tree deaths triple across New Mexico amid 2026 drought. Tree mortality across New Mexico tripled in 2025 as drought and heat continued to stress forests statewide. The annual survey conducted by the New Mexico Forestry Division and the U.S. Forest Service examined approximately 14 million acres of state, private, tribal, and federal forests and woodlands. The report found a sharp increase in insect-related tree deaths during what was the state's second warmest year on record. Beetle-killed conifer forests increased by 211% compared with the previous year, with the most of the damage occurring on national forest land. Areas impacted by drought and heat rose 66%, while overall acreage showing some form of forest damage declined to 6%. Defoliation, or the loss of leaves and needles that does not necessarily result in tree death, decreased 51%. State Forester Laura McCarthy said the findings provide a snapshot of current forest conditions, but also offer insight into future trends. It's important to contextualize that this report is a snapshot of New Mexico's forest at a specific time. However, this snapshot is a good predictor of what to expect for the next few years if such meager precipitation and warm winter temperatures persist. The report and an accompanying forest health dashboard provide a detailed overview of insect activity, disease impacts, and environmental stressors. Wildfire dangers forces indefinite closure of Rio Costilla campgrounds. Stage 2 fire restrictions begin as beehive fire grows near Tres Piedras. Carson National Forest will enter Stage 2 fire restrictions across the forest beginning Tuesday, June 30th, as officials work to reduce the risk of human-caused wildfire during the heightened fire danger and as firefighters continue battling the beehive fire in northern New Mexico. Under Stage 2 restrictions, the following are prohibited throughout Carson National Forest: building, maintaining, or using campfires, charcoal grills, or coal fires. Smoking is prohibited except inside an enclosed vehicle, building, or developed recreation site. Motor vehicle use is restricted to National Forest System roads unless a vehicle is parked in an area free of vegetation within 10 feet of the roadway. The order also bans the use of explosives, including fireworks, flares, exploding targets, and other incendiary devices. Operating chainsaws and other equipment powered by internal combustion engines is prohibited between 10 a.m. and 6 p.m. Welding and operating acetylene or other open flame torches is also prohibited. Propane and liquid petroleum gas-fueled devices, including camp stoves and grills, remain allowed if they can be turned on and off, and are used only in areas cleared of overhead and surrounding flammable materials within 3 feet of the device. Fire managers are also urging motorists to use caution and slow down along U.S. Highway 64 and 285, where periods of heavy smoke are reducing visibility. Hikers on the Continental Divide National Scenic Trail are encouraged to avoid the section between Hopewell Lake and the Rio Grande National Forest until conditions improve. The beehive fire was first reported about 1 p.m. June 26 north of U.S. Highway 64 in the Tusa's Valley, about 15 miles west of Tres Piedras. The fire was spotted by a crew of a detection flight that had been dispatched to survey the forest following recent lightning activity. For more information about the fire activity in the area, follow us on Facebook. "4 years on the ground. How the green hydrogen story evolved in our town." For over 3 years, the Cuesta del Rio News has been tracking the evolution of the proposed green hydrogen plant from the ground up. As a reporter, my job is to take the pulse of our community, and this project is no exception. Ahead of our July issue, it's clear that the residents are divided, falling into few distinct categories. Many are firmly opposed, citing critical issues regarding water, safety, and transparency. Others are curious but feel they lack enough information to form an opinion. Proponents argue the plant is a much-needed economic engine for our post-mining town, while a final group admits that they aren't tracking the issue at all. There's nobody that says that the plant is a much-needed economic engine for our town, except for the people that are trying to do it. The evil corporation, that's what it is. Chevron, it's an evil corporation. From its origins as a conceptual federal grant study to a multi-million-dollar federal project, and finally to today's intense local debates over water, scale, and safety, this newspaper has maintained its role, reporting the facts and chronicling the evolution of the project. The following chronicles details how the project evolved and how this publication has consistently provided a balanced community forum for utility leaders, local officials, and concerned citizens alike. Following a June 22 tour of the old Molycorp mine area, the news documented a new vision for the economic future of the region and officially reported on the story with the headline, "Green Hydrogen Could Be a Reality in Our Town," in the September 2022 issue. At the time, the U.S. Department of Energy selected us for its first ever Communities Leap program, a competitive initiative aimed at helping just 24 towns nationwide transition from old mining or industrial economies into clean energy hubs. Early reporting established the foundational requirements of the project: land, water, and fossil-free power. In partnership with the National Renewable Energy Laboratory, Sandia National Labs, Los Alamos National Labs, Chevron, and the Kit Carson Electric Cooperative, KCEC, local entities began a feasibility study at the former Cuesta mine tailings site. The initial coverage focused on a clear community goal: solving the region's nighttime energy needs. While KCEC had made strides toward 100% daytime solar energy, state law required rural co-ops to transition to entirely carbon-free electricity by 2050. Green hydrogen was introduced as the mechanism to store solar energy at a scale to meet KCEC's winter peak hours when the sun is down. By the summer of 2023, the conceptual phase shifted into community outreach. On July 29, 2023, the paper published Community Input Sought for the Green Hydrogen Project, alerting residents to the public forums at the VFW Hall and Taos Community Auditorium. On August 30th, 2023, the follow-up article, Renewable Green Energy Facility Proposed in Cuesta, detailed the findings presented by NREL scientists. During these early stages, the newspaper began documenting commitments from leadership regarding local resources. Notably, the report highlighted assurances from Mayor John Ortega, the village idiot, that the village municipal water supply would not be utilized, as the facility intended to secure its own separate water sources and solar power. Lies. Complete lies. The scale of the project changed dramatically in October 2024 when the paper reported $95.6 million granted to fund the green hydrogen project in our town. KCEC secured the massive award from the U.S. Department of Agriculture's Empowering Rural America program. The coverage included celebratory statements from the governor, Michelle Lujan, who was a traitor and a treason, should be tried for treason, who framed the grant as a monumental economic pivot from a historic mining economy to a modern green energy hub. It's bullshit. It's complete bullshit. At this stage, public, you know how many jobs they said it would create when push came to shove and they finally had to say 9 jobs. 9 jobs. That's what's going to change the economy. Please. At this stage, public messaging still centered on the initial proposal to utilize treated, reclaimed water directly from the closed Chevron mine reclamation site, which was a lie from the start. Recognizing the need for transparency as federal dollars flowed in, the news published an exclusive Q&A with KCEC Chief Executive Officer Luis Reyes on October 29, 2024, pushing for answers regarding the core motives, safety metrics, and long-term impacts of the project. By fall 2025, the technical specifications of the project shifted significantly. Project documents revealed a major change in the facility's design. Instead of relying on treated water from the mine's reclamation operations, the project would instead pump groundwater from a Chevron tailings production well located just south of the facility near town. This shift sparked immediate concern regarding local aquifer depletion. On September 29, 2025, the paper covered a pivotal village council meeting where Councilman Jason Gonzalez voiced early concerns that residents were being left in the dark as the project moved forward toward a tentative groundbreaking. Following subsequent meetings where the water change became clear, Gonzalez noted that while he and many residents initially supported the project based on original specifications, the sudden pivot to the town-level tailings well changed the stakes entirely. You sold us all on the water coming out of the mine reclamation site, Gonzalez later stated, channeling a growing sentiment and need for broader public information. In early 2026, this tension culminated in the formation of the Watershed Protectors, a local grassroots advocacy group mobilized to protect the local aquifer and demanding greater accountability. The Watershed Protectors began organizing community meetings, circulating petitions, and staging visible public protests to voice their opposition to the project's scale and water usage. By spring of this year, the green hydrogen proposal had escalated into one of the most talked about topics in the region. On March 29, 2026, the front page read, "Tensions rise as debates around the $231 million green energy project arise," which described the increasing debate surrounding water, safety, and jobs. As a neutral ground, the newspaper opened its opinion page to the community, capturing a clear turn from early economic optimism to community concern. Commentary pieces tracked this friction, including the April 29, 2026 op-ed, "No Green Hydrogen and the June 1st, 2026 piece, Dancing with Greed. These submissions raised critical questions regarding the environmental safety of constructing a massive solar array downwind from a federal Superfund site, potential corporate overreach, and the long-term threat of water depletion. Simultaneously, the paper continued to provide KCEC leadership and Luis Reyes the platform to present counterpoints, technical data, and safety metrics to address those fears. From a mention on a mine tour in 2022 to a $231 million flashpoint, the news has documented the evolution of the green hydrogen project. As the timeline moves forward, this newspaper remains committed to journalistic balance and ensuring that every stakeholder, from federal officials to neighboring residents, has a voice in the pages of their local paper. That's what they say, but they're also heavily sponsored by Chevron, so. What are you dogs barking at? Leucanthemum superbum. Thyrus odolaris, sweet pea. And of course, our beautiful wild evening primrose.